Welcome back everybody to Forza Motorsport, and today we're taking a look at the 2022 Acura NSX Type S. So this is part of the second generation of the NSX, although regular models of this car ceased in 2021 after being made from 2016 onwards, and this version was kind of a replacement for the original version as like a last hurrah for this generation of the car, as this was only produced in 2022 and only 350 of them were made, with most of those actually being sold in the US, meaning that this is the first Type S as part of the NSX range to actually be sold outside of Japan, as there were two versions of the NSX that got the Type S name in the previous generation, but they were only Japanese domestic vehicles. So yeah, bit of a first for this car in that regard, and yeah, there have been some sizable improvements over the standard car, quite frankly. So we've got improved downforce and cooling. So the downforce has been improved by producing a new front nose, which I think makes the car look a lot better than the original version, and it's got a really rather sizable carbon rear diffuser, as you can see, carbon fibre rear diffuser, so that's all helpful in that regard. And in terms of helping the handling, well, it's got a wider front and rear track, new semi-slick tyres, and to improve the performance in terms of the engine, it's got a new turbos, new fuel injectors and new intercoolers. And yeah, the electric motors have also been tuned to provide better torque, low end down, and also improved traction off the line. So yeah, overall a pretty handsome looking car, to be honest, and it's been fettled and lightened in such a way that that makes it that little bit extra that bit better. Although I say lightened, but that's only when you've got the certain lightweight performance package, which provided carbon ceramic brakes and such, whereas this don't think has that, as it does weigh £100 more than the standard car at £3,903, which means it's quite a heavy weight. But then again, it does have a lot of stuff going for it. So you've got all-wheel drive, and then you've got the engine, which is obviously a hybrid power plant. So it's got a 3.5 litre twin turbocharged V6, which is also aided by lithium-ion batteries that power 3 separate motors, 2 at the front, 1 at the rear. But that means we've got 600 horsepower in total and 492 pounds-feet of torque. So that's quite a hefty amount, and that is actually 27 horsepower more than the standard car. So even though it weighs a little bit more, it does have a substantial amount of extra power, and like I said, with the electric motors being retuned, it is going to be getting off the line a lot better as well. Now there is going to be a little bit of a confusion with this car compared to the older version, especially when it comes to the torque, as it looks like with this game they've just taken what all of the motors and all of the engine power can do in terms of putting out horsepower, but obviously the electric motors and the batteries aren't all there just to propel the car forward. They are there to also aid in terms of keeping the power up when the gear changes and such. So I think that's why this car technically has less torque than the older version in this game, but this does have more torque in real life than that standard version. So yeah, that's a little bit of a disparity there, if you were wondering why this has less torque. But yeah, as you can see, the front is just all electric motors and such in the front there. And yeah, interior wise, I've never been the biggest fan of this interior, to be honest, especially with the big dial knob in the middle there. It just looks a little bit ungainly, but I guess everything here is going to be here that you could ever need in a modern sports car, and then some. So yeah, all very good in that regard, and obviously there is a little bit of boot space at the back behind the engine. So yeah, all in all, looks like a moderate improvement over the original car, but considering I really like that original car, any improvement is just going to make me enjoy this vehicle all the more. But nonetheless, let's get out onto the track and see what it can do. Right, we're at Watkins Glen full circuit for a couple of laps, but as per usual, let's hear what the car sounds like first, and then we'll talk about it some more. yeah, the engine note in this has never been the biggest selling point of this car, to be honest. I think the V6 is not the finest sounding engine, and then it's not really helped by the fact it's got, you know, 2 turbochargers on top of it, which do typically make an engine sound a little bit worse, but it's decent enough sounding. It certainly sounds a little bit better than the original car, certainly sounds a bit more aggressive, but yeah, it's not the main selling point of this car. The main selling point of this car is the fact that it's so easy to use at speed, quite frankly, because yeah, it has that all-wheel drive system, but it's just so well set up that it really isn't a difficult car at all to drive. But it's also, on the flip side, also reasonably satisfying to drive as well. As yeah, got a good amount of turning, plenty of grip, and yeah, because of those electric motors and the all-wheel drive system, it really is able just to push its way out of the corners really rather easily. Which yeah, does give it a really rather quite satisfying surge to it. It does obviously have quite a fair amount of torque, 492 pounds-feet. So yeah, that is not a small amount whatsoever, and certainly makes it feel a little bit more meaty than some naturally aspirated engines out there. Acceleration wise is also pretty damn great. 0 to 60 in only 2.9 seconds, 0 to 106.7 seconds, and it'll go into a top speed of 202 miles an hour, which yeah, is properly quick for any supercar or sports car. I'm not sure how this would really be classified, because it doesn't really have an exotic engine underneath it like a lot of supercars do. You know, it doesn't certainly have the V8 bellows of the Ferraris and such, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's still mid-engine. It still has 600 horsepower, and it's still able to crack 200 miles an hour. So I do consider it to be a supercar, even if it is one that is quite easy to use and also reasonably practical, because like I said, it does have a boot at the back, and there is obviously plenty of creature comforts inside, and certainly doesn't look like a car that is going to be difficult to use on a day-to-day basis either. So in a lot of ways it's probably like the Porsche 911 really. It's a car that is capable on track or on the road at being, you know, a sporty car that is fun to drive, but also more than capable of dealing with the day-to-day business as well. So yeah, I like it in that regard, to be honest, and yeah, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for this vehicle, to be honest, even with the standard version, and yeah, with the extra power and the improved looks at the front in particular, it's just gotten that bit better as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I'm glad it's in the game. No, it's not the most spectacular car they could have added to the game, and it is at the end of the day a slightly fettled version of a car we already have, but an improvement over a standard car that I already liked is still an improvement regardless, and yeah, I'm sure I'll enjoy driving it in the future in other ways. Certainly will be taking this around the Nürburgring to see how it will do against its you know, older brother. I imagine it will be quicker, but it will be interesting to see how much quicker it will be with the additional power, but also that slight additional amount of weight, but also the slight improvement in handling and braking. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. I do highly recommend trying out this car. Now you can only get it by doing the Spirit of Forza Motorsport tour, so there is a fair bit of racing to do to get to that. But that tour itself was really rather fun to do, and it gives you credits as well on top of that. So you get a lot of credits, you get some fun racing, and you also get a reward car at the end of it. So it's well worth doing. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.